Welcome to the Clubroom as part of presented by the Winnigan Academy. And I'm Mark Moyer. Super excited to have Dave Meltzer in the house. I've got his book right here, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, but it's a little bit reflective, so I got to get that somehow fixed. All the bright lights in here in my massive studio. And then I've got my book next to it, which of course we can always talk about, but we won't. And in one sec here, I'm going to invite in David to say his hello, and then we're going to get rolling. So here we go. But while he comes in and clicks on that jump in button and all that sort of stuff, I'm super excited to have David. There he is, Mr. Meltzer. Always thrilled.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so now I got to do the quick intro. I've run into and met and seen David a bunch of times all over Miami, I think it was, and at some other events and so forth. What I've always been, I don't want to say attracted to, because maybe that gives the wrong thing, but I've always been, look, he's very magnetic, his personality, always smiling, always charming, always happy. At least to us, he's always happy. Who knows what happens behind closed doors? But anyway, we'll talk about that later. But he's the co-founder of Sports One Marketing. He used to be the CEO of Leigh Steinberg's agency, the inspiration behind Maguire. He's a 3-time best-selling author, including that book right back there. He is a speaker. He is a serial podcast attendee. He is absolutely everywhere, so I'm super excited to have him for a few minutes of his time today. I know he's got something happening in about 30 minutes that he's got to jump to, so we're going to whack through some stuff real quick. But what I want to talk about before he says it, I'm going to say it first. His life mission is to basically empower not a billion people, but over a billion people around the planet, and really talk about a lot of we're going to talk about the free training that he does every single week. You have to attend that. By the way, you'll notice in the middle of the club room, there's a banner with that thing. You click on it, it opens up a window, and then you're off and running. Register, attend. I highly encourage you to do it. They're great. I'm done. Hi, Dave.
Hi. Well, thank you. Yes, I think I can go now as long as everybody's inspired to join me to empower others to be happy. The interesting thing about my mission, which has changed over the years, is like anything else of extraordinary circumstance that you want to do, people laugh at you, scoff at you, and make fun of you, and eventually they applaud you. And I was with Cindy Eckert, the Pickinator, sold over $1 billion company, and we shared the same exact philosophy. When I started telling people, what my mission was, even my own family was asking me funny questions like, who do you think you are, Tony Robbins? Do you think you're Jesus Christ? How are you going to impact over 1 billion people? And so when I started before COVID, speaking on stages about this, I would ask and pull people. I would say, look, the purpose of this speech or talk is to empower you to be happy, but not just empower you, but to empower others to be happy. And my goal is to empower over 1 billion people to create a collective consciousness of abundance and happiness, because happiness to me is the greatest virus. It's spread by witnessing it, which no other virus can be spread simply by witnessing it on Zoom, but it is, and movies and TV and radio and podcast and all the other things I get to do. It's simply because it's spread via those mediums. And it also strengthened us mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially, by the way. I'm a very pragmatic individual, and I believe in making a lot of money to help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Receive so you can give. But the funny thing is, I'll stand. Who here thinks I can create a collective consciousness of over 1 billion people in abundance and happiness? And nobody, right? Nobody raised their hand because, that mission wasn't out there. And then I kept talking and teaching. And later on I said, who here thinks I can empower 1,000 people to empower 1,000 people to empower 1,000 people? And everyone raises their hand, right? And I said, well, you realize 1,000 times 1,000 is 1 million, 1 million times 1,000, 1 billion. Now, who here thinks I can empower over 1 billion people? And in fact, I'm looking to you, Mark, to be one of those 1,000 for me. And you've been giving so much to the cause, to send people to the trainings I've been doing for 20 years, to get my free books, exercises, and guides. Those books, I give everything just to empower people. And more importantly, you talked about being a professional podcast guest. It is so generous and wonderful that people give me their platforms to share the inspiration so that more people can make more money, help more people, and have more fun with their lives.
Well, they wouldn't do that if you weren't worthy of it, right? You know, it's and not to stroke you too much there, but and I'm going to start calling you Jesus Robbins. I think that's I like that.
Jesus Robbins. I'm gonna tell my mom that's awesome.
But look, one of the things I wanted to just quickly run through today is that you know, a lot of people, and I'll say including myself, you know, the COVID stuff and everything has been fairly challenging, and it's impacted us all in a lot of different ways. In my case, you know, I've found that it just seems to be a constant sort of a pushback. Whenever I want to do something, it's sort of pushing back a little bit. But I want to know, you know, what kind of advice can you give, whether it's an entrepreneur really trying to grow their business or somebody that's just trying to succeed more? You know, give me a couple of tidbits you might throw at just to how to get around this stuff a little bit.
One, don't focus on what you don't have control of, because there's always things we don't have control of. One of the things frustrates me the most is when people talk about these times of uncertainty. And what I'm here to tell you, if anyone's listening to this, you know, if you know what's going to happen tomorrow, call me, because we'll make billions of dollars. Since the day I was born,
I
I've
love it.
never known what was going to happen tomorrow. So there's no difference in uncertainty than any other day. And it would be just as uncertain that if someone would come down, some aliens today, and say everyone 5'7" and under is going to be beamed up, that would really constitute the same uncertainty as any other day. Where you need to focus in on is there's extraordinary change. Sometimes there's accelerated change. Sometimes there's larger change and bigger change than others in different areas: housing, stock market, health, variety of things. So how do we take advantage of big change? Because with big change comes big opportunity if we focus on what we control. And so the first thing that I want everyone to do is, instead of looking what we don't control, which is tomorrow, which is in a few seconds, focusing on what we do control. We control our mindset. We control what we think and how we perceive things. We control our heart set. We control how we feel. And I know I have 3 teenage daughters, and they're not buying into this, and at times my wife doesn't either. You know, I always say, I cannot hurt your feelings. You control your feelings. I don't. Right. And we want to make sure that we have control of our heart set, of our feelings. And we also have control of what we think, what we say, what we do, and what we hear. Because I think, especially now, because of the ubiquity of information and the inundation of news and other data that's all around us, that we have to control what we hear all the time. And I would tell you that if you need stable data, you don't need to be inundated by it as ambionic music. You need to seek the data that you require, seek it once or twice a day, but don't allow it to change your vibration and your frequency and allow it to inundate you and let you lose control. So what the first step for me is simply take control of what you do with your mindset, heart set, and what you think, say, do, and believe. Then I have 5 daily practices. And these 5 daily practices are utilized in order to make the margins of millionaires, to take advantage. With big change comes big opportunity. And so one is take inventory of not only your values, but your capabilities. If you take inventory of your own skills today, your own knowledge, and not just knowledge of what, but who you know, and your desire, what you want. If you take inventory according to your personal experiential giving and receiving values, that will give you guideposts on taking advantage of, number one, a third, and I'm going to estimate, a third of the companies, industries, and careers are doing well right now. A third of the companies, industries, and careers are stable right now. And a third are disaster. But even the third that are disaster, certain ones of them will provide you extraordinary opportunity because they are oversold on emotion, and they'll be overbought on emotion. And those are margins of millionaires as well. So I tell people, once you take inventory of those values and capabilities, align them, see what's synergistic and supplementary to what's doing well, what's stable, and what will do well. And you too can now feel not only in control, but extremely optimistic about your future.
Boom. I love it. Oh, I just finished reading somebody say they hate it when people say boom first. So I unsay the word boom. And it's funny when you said earlier about the concept of you know, these uncertain times, because it's funny. Someone literally just today in a little LinkedIn chat said, during these uncertain times, Mark, what are you doing for your business? And I wrote back, I said, what's uncertain? It's extremely certain right now. Like everything is certain. What certainty is, everything's uncertain. So
Right.
it's
The present is certain, everything else is uncertain.
exactly. But so let's say people are chugging along with their business or trying to, or their careers, what do you think is a good way to sort of pivot if they need to? Because look, some people, myself included, are really pretty strong-minded and stubborn, and I insist I'm going to drive something into the ground because I believe I'm right. And it's hard for sometimes change is hard. How do you work around that?
Well, I take a step back and realize in everything that I do, number one, I take inventory, meaning I take that where I'm at is where I'm supposed to be. So I think it's important to take advantage of the fact that I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I'm happy where I'm at, and I'm at the right way at the perfect time where I'm at. Now, my job is to angle towards what I want. Notice I say I don't go directly.
Mm.
I'm always angling because I'm a realist that I'm angling towards what I want. I know that pain is an indicator that I'm going to need to move in a different direction. Mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, financial pain is going to occur when I'm learning, right? Life's about lessons. The lessons will keep on coming. Pain will be the indicator that I haven't learned it yet, but I'm going to angle towards what I want. And the new nuance that I have in my life that has really helped me is not only am I concerned about what surrounds me to angle towards what I want, but I now have a newfound faith of what surrounds me. Meaning, not only am I happy where I'm at the right way at the perfect time, not only am I angling towards what I want, using pain as an indicator, a turn signal, and a stop sign, but more importantly, I have faith that I'm going to end up somewhere better than I even imagined. And that faith allows me to have inspiration to continue the enjoyment of the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of my potential. Without having that philosophy, I'm going to, drive this into the ground. I'm not driving anything downwards. I'm driving it all upwards. I'm angling. May not be exactly where I think I was supposed to go or where I thought I was supposed to, but it's going to be somewhere better. And so when I'm pushed in a certain direction, like you were talking about earlier, that pressure, I see it as, oh, awesome. I have faith that what surrounds me is telling me there's something bigger, better, and better waiting for me, but I got to continue to put that effort of consistent, persistent behavior and pursuit into it.
That's great. So a lot of people out there, what they do is they feel to get business or to succeed, they need to absorb. And what I mean by that is almost take instead of give. And I know you've got a history of giving, and because you understand, and it's been said since the Bible, to give is to to receive, to give. And I'm going to get that wrong, so I didn't even start saying that.
Let's just say that.
Okay, but um, but you know, what kind of advice can you give someone who's, especially a younger person, who might be thinking, what do I have to give? Like, what on earth do I have? Especially people to start their careers, they kind of feel like, well, I'm just starting out. I don't have anything. What do I have? What
Yeah,
can you
that's
tell
so
them?
wonderful. So, I was told when I was young, the more that I give, the more I'll receive.
Right.
And I used to say, I got law loans. That's what I got to give. I got no car. That's what I got to give.
Yeah.
I got books. What am I going to give?
Yeah.
And then, when I did make a lot of money, I still held that philosophy. The more I give, the more I'll receive. But what happens is that instead of realizing giving and receiving are one, that I don't live in a world of not enough where I'm a victim or why me person, that I don't live in the world of just for me. When I was a millionaire, I always said I lived in the world where everything was for me. And so what happened was I would buy things I didn't need. I'd buy different things to make me happy. I'd buy things to impress people I didn't like to make me happy. But if there's this world that I now believe in, and it works for anybody of any age, it's a world of abundance, a world of more than enough, where everything comes through me for others. And so we have these values that I talked about earlier that we need to weight, meaning weight, WEIGHT, and balance them by a weighted balance. In other words, I changed the paradigm of my life. I no longer give to receive. I receive, and I'm inspired to receive so I can give. Everything comes through me in a world of more than enough. I now live in an instant between limitlessness and infinity. I believe and truly follow that there is abundance of everything for everyone. My job is to access as much as I can, no matter how old I am, and let it come through me with appreciation, which appreciation is not only gratitude, appreciation is adding value. Your house appreciates, it goes up in value. So I'm gracious for what comes through me, but I'm also adding my value, which could be my ability to babysit. It could be my ability to walk your dog. It could be my ability to take your trash out. It could be my ability to pick up trash or return a cart, an ability to do a good deed. Whatever ability it is, if you allow everything and you only focus in on receiving to come through you with that intent, now you'll expand and accelerate. Everything expands. So if you're a container full of water and you're able to expand, it creates a vacuum. And the problem is when the vacuum's created, when we expand, most people elect or vote for what other people want for them. And that's what fills the vacuum. And then they get what other people want for them. Or even worse, a lot of people, especially younger people, they vote or elect what they don't want. And so when they create the expansion by working hard and being consistent and persistent and believing in themselves, they put what they don't want in the vacuum. Then they're so surprised that they got what they don't want. What I try to inspire people to do is, yes, expand everything, grow, learn, make the mistakes through gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability. But remember, the key component is to fill that vacuum with what you want. And if you do that, things will come to you more rapidly and accurately. You'll feel fulfilled, purposeful, passionate, and profitable, allowing you to receive more and to give more.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because a lot of the coaching that I do, when I talk to people about their careers and their lives, I talk to them about, they say, well, you know what, I'm just going to settle for this job. I don't think I can do anything better than that. And I say, look, number one, you should wake up every morning excited to be alive and to be working and doing whatever you're doing. You deserve that. And to me, every moment you spend looking for a job that you're settling for is a moment you can invest in looking for something you'd love to do. And there's no reason why you can't be doing something you love doing. And that's all about working your network and making the right connections and that sort of thing that'll lead you to that great job. But it's a similar idea what you're talking about. Another thing I just thought of that you mentioned is that you talk about having having the receiving flow through you, because I think a lot of people, they receive and it stops and they hold on to it and they don't do anything with it. And that's where it kind of gets stuck.
Yeah, that's the world of for me. I lived there with
Yeah.
multi-million dollars in boats and golf courses and ski mountains and all types of great cars. And it was all for me and never came through me. And then I realized I was living in the wrong world. I will add one thing, determinative upon your age and capability. One of the key skill sets that I have, and I know you mentioned, well, Dave always seems happy. I am happy most of the time. There's minutes and moments now that I'm not happy, but there was years, months, and weeks when I was younger that I wasn't happy, that I was full of ego-based worrying, guilt, resentment, offense, all those different things that everyone enjoys. I just do it for minutes and moments now, not for hours, weeks, months, or years. But in that context, I have developed over 15 years one skill set that is more powerful. I call it my superpower. I have the ability to find the light, the love, and the lessons in what I do. So I could take any circumstance, which allows me to angle faster and gain more momentum, because while I may be angling towards something better, I have the ability to take a job or a consulting job or a function to help people, and I'm able to love what I do. I have a philosophy. There's the same, and I was blessed to be around the greatest celebrities, athletes, entertainers, billionaires, millionaires, entrepreneurs, and still am. And I know this being exposed to all of them. Their life sucks as much as yours does. We all experience the same percentage of suck. I believe the difference is that superpower that I've been able to build as a muscle is that I'm able to find the light, the love, and the lessons in the suck. I can learn to do anything and learn to love anything. So even though I may not be where I want to be and I'm angling towards something better and having faith that I'll end up somewhere better than that, I'm super happy and inspired taking out the trash because I've learned to love to take out the trash, when before I hated to take out the trash and it just added more suck to my life.
No, that was good. I like to tell people that think, oh, well, I wish I had this person or that person or had this. And I say, look, the grass may seem greener, but it's not greener. It's just a different shade of green. And you should enjoy the green you're in, right?
You still got to cut the grass.
You still got to cut the grass. It still grows, and you still got to cut it. We just have a couple more minutes. So before I prattle on and on and on. I want to make sure that people understand. Tell me a little bit more about your weekly training and what you do with that.
So for 20 years, I've been training people for free. It started as sales training because that's really my expertise 20 years ago, but it has evolved, especially now in the last 6 months. Thousands and thousands of people watch it live. Millions of people watch it on the replay. It's featured on Spotify and Entrepreneur. But the training's called Road to Revenue and Happiness. And what I do is I give both pragmatic ways with the currency of money, the object of energy we put into flow to get what we want, and I blend it with the other currency of faith or with energy or philosophy. You can call it what you want. And I utilize an hour every Friday that's recorded and replayed, like I said, on Spotify. But it varies from ultimate ego training to sales pitch training this Friday to 5 to Thrive training, anything you can think of. I've done them for 20 years, manifestation, worthiness training. And it is always a blend, like Think and Grow Rich, of pragmatic ways in order to effectuate more revenue in your life and more happiness. I believe in making a lot of money because we live in this world to help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. I want people to live happy, healthy, abundant lives. And I've formulated different pragmatic things to do, disciplines, practices, and strategies and awareness, little tricks and treats that I know, and keep them very simple, most of them down to earth, so that people can implement them and I can remind and recollect what they already know and hopefully inspire them to do those things every Friday.
Perfect. And it's dmeltzer.com, not davemeltzer.com. Don't even go there because that
Yeah,
guy, he's a
he's a wrestler. I know it's always been a challenge, but I went with D Meltzer, first initial, last name, and it's interesting. I never thought there were so many David Meltzers or Dave Meltzers in the world.
well, like I said, the other Mark Moyer that had my domain, I had to eventually pay him off, but it was a wrestle match too. Pretty funny.
Yeah,
So dmeltzer.com, make sure you obviously sign up for that free training. And once again, David, you're just another fine example of some of the guests that we love to have here in the club room as part of this whole Win Again Academy and the speaking series that we have. And I think what I'd like to do in a minute or two is just have you have a couple more minutes that you can jump back to the tables and sort of just a quick little chat one more time. And then maybe if we can get in the general chat the link directly to your site and so forth, along with the piece in the middle. That is great. And the grass is always greener behind Dave.
it sure is. Thank you.
Anyway, thanks for being here, David. As always, it's a pleasure. And we'll jump back to the tables in a minute.
Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Thank you, everyone.
I appreciate it. Thanks again.
Awesome.
All right.